Hello, hello. Just want to make sure that we are good on sound and everything and that we're streaming. Yeah, okay, good. Yay. All right. I'm just checking our HD situation. It's a little blurry, so let me see what I can do here. Lighting is not that great. I know. We're getting better though. Better than last week. We'll figure it out. We're figuring it out. All right. Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, everyone. All right. There is a natural delay on YouTube, but welcome on YouTube and on Zoom. I am just going to prioritize our Zoom conversation. So if you're in Zoom, our chat will definitely be at the ready as far as being in front of my eyes. And just know that if I don't see your chat on YouTube, that I will get to it probably towards the end, just so that I can kind of stay with the peeps who registered for the call and kind of came with some intention to maybe get some answers and chat with me, because that's really what I want here. This to be a fully engaged, fully two-way and dynamic conversation. I don't want to be talking at you, but I will answer your questions and, to the best of my ability and give you maybe some little stories of how I work through some of your questions and really my life as an entrepreneur mom, which is who we probably are here. Majority of us here on this masterclass probably are entrepreneur moms, aspiring or established, or your moms to be, right? So in some way, shape, or form, you kind of want to move in that place where you are a mom working for herself, maybe stay at home working with your kids, or not, yeah, working with your kids around because you're working from home. Maybe they're littles at home or they're homeschooled, and then all the way through their evolution from childhood, right, into adolescence and beyond adulthood. And I say that because at every new level of motherhood come new challenges. Every new level of business come new challenges. So we will be here for it. And how do we be here for it? Really, legitimately be here for it, be present to it, both in the ascension of our minds and the ascension of our kids, right? So the ascension of everything as we're moving forward in life, how we're ascending both ourselves and our families. And so that's where this legacy, this idea of legacy comes. It's like, you're building a legacy. Well, therefore, you are a legend. Imagine, like, if you recognize that in order to leave a legacy, there's something about you that is legendary. So what do you want it to be? What do you want to be your legacy, right? What do you want to be known as? Do you want to leave your kids with, oh, she was the best mom ever, and they're inspired by your motherhood and your parenting to then parent their kids, and kind of the cycle that you disrupted, right? This pattern interrupt across your lineage. You intentionally would have went about your life today differently so that they could have a new cycle. And maybe the new cycle, in my personal opinion, for me, is one of love and patience and durability and togetherness. I want my family to love to get together and get together often. My kids as siblings primarily, right? And then from there, kind of grow. And I recognize, like, the cost that comes from wanting certain things, and there might be a flip side to that. And what does that look like? So it is up to us to create that reality, create our reality as mompreneurs, building businesses and raising a family. And that's kind of where this comes from. So let's ground down. And like I said, welcome YouTube and everyone on Zoom. And then if you're watching the replay, just know that you can still submit a question to me and it'll just get to me via email. So just want to do some housekeeping there. Also, if you've already tried to book a call with me to discuss the mastermind or just to do our clarity launch call where you walk away with like a launch plan for your business as a mom or not, you just want clarity on like, what's my direction here? Where am I going with my business and how, and am I doing the right thing, right? For me and my family? Is how I'm moving in this world going to actually get me to where I'm going? And am I going to leave anybody behind, right? When you ascend to that place, that new identity, that new level of business, that new level of prosperity, you know, am I going to have to let something go? And if so, what is it? So that's kind of what that call is about. If you try to book a call, just keep scrolling down the calendar when you book, because there might be more times that work for you. And if you see like a week is empty, no available slots, then that just means I either was booked up or I took that week off. So just know you'll get on with me. Definitely within 4 weeks. And then we'll send you reminders, don't worry, about your call if it is a little bit farther out. I am adding new slots though, so don't worry. I'm adding new slots to the calendar so that you can get a quicker appointment with me, or a quicker call, something sooner on the calendar. Just know that. But bear with me. We're gonna start to do that here in a little bit with the calendar, just opening up some slots. So just be on the lookout for that, and just know that if you aren't seeing anything available, just scroll down and you will see something available. Depending on when you're watching this, just keep scrolling. It doesn't matter the month, you'll find something. Okay, so all right, so this is well, actually, let's ground down. Let's breathe. Come into the space. And as you start to breathe, move that breath through your body. And if you notice people when they say, okay, sit up straight, erect spine, sit up tall, like you've got a string between, your root chakra all the way up into the heavens above, like, you're just opening up the vertebrae, right? And you're sitting flat, both butt cheeks on the seat and then both feet on the floor. And that's only because of this idea of circulation, right? If we're crossing our legs or crossing our arms, then there's some stoppage of energy, energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally. There's something you aren't going to allow through. And so we just want to open it up, open up the channels to receive today. So if you can, close your eyes, big inhale and exhale. And just allow that breath to penetrate your soul until you feel a vibration of peace. And you could stop short of that, but if you really want to enter the realm of clarity, it really does begin at peace. And you'll notice if you work with anybody who's teaching visualization, like if we're working together, visualization will be one of the techniques we use together. But you'll notice any book you read, part of visualization, part of manifestation, part of prayer, right, is being with the vulnerable side of yourself and letting something go, right? So that something can transpire on your behalf, because you're letting go of the steering wheel, right? You're letting go of the gripping, of the clenching, of the clinging, of the holding on for dear life, and you're letting go and allowing in God, the divine universe, to work on your behalf based on where your energy is. Okay, so if we're already low vibration because we're coming into the day really tired, we didn't get a lot of sleep, or the day before was really emotional, and so we woke up with like an emotional hangover, then we're gonna feel that drag right into our day, unless we woke up and we said, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is I'm here now. I'm here now, and I've had the wherewithal and the capability and the wisdom inside myself to manifest an amazing day. And I will say this, what's interesting about June, as I'm ending my month of June and going into July, I recognize that, whoa, July has always been a really good month for me. I've always manifested some pretty big changes in July. And I don't know if that's just because it's the halfway mark of the year, right? And so the first the first page of this spread is like, okay, I was getting it together. And then, July, we just take off. And that's kind of been the way it's been for me. And so what I did was lean into that. Like, oh, I'm going to lean into that as a manifestation trick because, hey, well, time is of the essence. July is tomorrow. Why not? So I'm sitting with that. I'm breathing in the energy of July being this magical month for me always. There's always been great, great things, great experiences, manifestations, realities that I've called into my life. And it hasn't always been intentional. It's just been kind of like, whoa, this happened to me. And now I get to experience I guess, what I sowed for so long, this idea of like, oh, this is what I want for this year. It's kind of like, okay, the pages turn. Well, it doesn't mean that there hasn't been kind of a nice flow going into July, into the rest of the year. Like you manifest that, right? You start to determine the speed of your vehicle and how you're moving through life, and you can pick up the pace and slow down as often, as frequently as you want. And before, I would just kind of go about my life, especially as a youngin. I would be maybe I would journal about some dreams of mine, and then I would just kind of, hope for the best, hope that this would work out. But a lot of times I was in my worry wart phase where I was just like, oh, constantly worried about everything. And is this going to work out? And I'm praying for something. I'm hoping for something. I'm wishing for something. I don't necessarily believe I'll get it. And then that means I'm not really doing any manifesting of my energy toward what I want. And so whatever comes, right? And so then I just am reacting to whatever comes instead of intentionally and deliberately and with clarity making the path forward, saying to God, the universe, the divine, that this is what I want, right? I would love to have this. When I imagine this, I get so happy and grateful that this is my reality, right? And from that point, and imagine feeling that way, feeling so full of power, your power from within, your inner strength, your inner wisdom, your inner guidance, without the shadow of a doubt, something is going to happen, right? And instead of it just being ambiguous and vague, something is going to happen. Yeah, sure. Anything can happen. But what if you put a name to it? What if you drew attention to it, your attention to it, and you said, hey, this is what I want, and I see it in my mind's eye, and it's crystal clear what I want. Now, universe, bring it to me. That is co-creating. And when I started doing that, the shift went from worry and anxiety and fear to enjoyment and excitement. And I see the bounty of my life now. And what feels like enough, but I could still want more and do more and live more. What feels like enough just calls the attention to the gratitude of the moment, right? What I have right here and now, and how I'm always at decision to declutter what's in my way, to declutter what is holding me down, weighing me down, bringing me down, to declutter from my life and my purview, right? And my priorities, the things that don't matter anymore. And so then you're freed up. Look at it, the space that opens up, even in your lungs, right? The breath that happens, a sigh of relief. It's making room for what's next for you. And you're calling it in, and it might feel scary, and it might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It might feel like that, but the excitement of that is also forward momentum, right? That's going to be what pulls you toward the direction, toward your vision, toward your dreams come true. This is what we talked about last week in the masterclass, where, we kind of have a vision for ourselves, and we're moving all the while according to our priorities. We're living according to our priorities and living on purpose, making intentional steps forward in alignment with our greatest vision, right? The ultimate goal. And when that vision really is an essence, it's a feeling, it's an energy. It's not really the end all be all, like, okay, I'm gonna have this house, this car, this number of kids, this number of animals, I'm gonna live on a farm and this acreage. That's because once you get that, you're gonna want more. You're going to want different. Then you're going to want a high rise in New York when you have that farm in Texas. You're going to want to be bi-coastal. You're going to want to travel more. And yeah, this is home base, but I just want to be in other countries half of the year, right? See how it always evolves, because as you reach that next echelon of success in your eyes, then it's like, oh, wow, you make room for more. Because as you were efforting, moving toward that ultimate vision for yourself, as you start to just check off the list of all your desires and who dreams come true and ultimate realities and wildest imagination, all of this stuff happening, check, 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 then it makes room for, oh, more, and building on that level of harmonious prosperity. Because at no point along the path did you give up on yourself. Did you stop trusting yourself? Did you wallow in fear and self-deprecation, thinking like, oh, I'll never get this. This is so not for me. Who am I to do this? And the people who stay there, stay in that limiting belief, stay in the feeling of lack and who am I and what can I do? What difference do I make in this world? Just constantly questioning themselves instead of declaring like, hey, well, this is my game. I'm playing this. I'm at the driver's seat. I can call the shots. Instead of taking up that mantle of power and I mean, really, it's your mental power. It's your inner wisdom. It's your inner your universal wisdom, right? That you can tap into it in a moment's notice and call to your circumstances anything that you need, right? Call to the situation, everything that's not there, you can be that energy and bring it. At no point did you give up on yourself and wallow in that, right? The depths of despair, thinking that you don't belong, right? You don't fit in. Nobody, who's going to want to listen to you? Oh, I have a message, but nobody cares. It's already been, that book's been written. That speech has been spoke on stage by everyone, Oprah and Bill Gates. Like, who am I? I mean, imagine if we stopped there. Imagine if we stopped at Einstein. There have been amazing, great minds ever since. Imagine if we stopped at Wayne Dyer. There have been, even that recent, the late Wayne Dyer passing hit, there have been even more great minds to shape and mold our conscious collective, our consciousness around what's possible, right? The power of the mind, what is within your power to change, as long as you be the change. Imagine if we stopped at Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Imagine if we stopped at imagine if we stopped at Elon Musk and we never really got to this idea of the Mars travel being like, oh, it's a day at the amusement park and it's one of the rides at Disneyland. I could go to Mars and I'll be back the next day, but I got a hopper ticket, so I have so I can land back and then go to California Adventure and do my whole like Disney trip. I mean, see how that might seem far-fetched for us today if we stopped at Elon Musk, but we're not, right? Life moves on. In fact, and I know Elon Musk is not a fan fave, but we're looking at the mind, the intellect, the wisdom that he's ushering in, not the crap, not the controversy, not the propaganda. No, the level of elevation that somebody with his determination, with his gall, with his audacity to like go after something as big as space travel and make it something that, you don't have to be an astronaut to go to Mars. That idea, like who would have ever thought that? I don't know. And then imagine, because I like the idea of space. I don't necessarily love the idea of going to Mars. I guess I don't have an attachment to it, but I am of the mindset that I wouldn't turn a trip down if it felt safe, if it felt like I wouldn't get motion sick, if it felt like all the things were in place for me to have an amazing trip, an amazing time. Sure, why not? If it's in what my lifetime to do, then why not? If not this one, next one. And so see how we're just kind of like, we're part of the raising of the collective in our advancement, in our ascension, in our enlightenment. Okay, so it's not as though we're necessarily bringing in new wisdom. We're just tapping into the frequency of the divine. And that's all anybody who has ever innovated and created something from scratch and been a thought leader and put out some new thought, um, for the masses to hook into and be carried away with, away from the stuff that held them back and held them down. You almost like you hook into this idea and it takes you forward, right? And so that's where business mentorship comes in, coaching, working one on one. I mean, there is kind of that level of ascension built into the idea of hiring a coach, right? To get out of your own way, to show you what you don't know, to kind of open up your vision for bigger, grander, greater, and things that you aren't necessarily privy to, right? From where you sit right now. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Is there a version of you? Okay, take a second to think about that. Is there a version of you that exists where you are a multimillionaire? Is there a version of you where you are sitting first class on a trip to Mars? Is there a version of you where you are healthy, happy, whole, free from disease, free from whatever ails you, body aches and tension, and feeling like there's no time to take care of yourself and eat well and do something for your body, right? Instead of just always sitting at the desk all day. Is there a reality where you exist in perfect health, in amazing health, health enough to do all the things you want to do in this lifetime? Absolutely. The answer is absolutely yes. And in order to get there, just like any of the greats before us and any of the greats after us, we just tap into the wavelength, right? We remove what's in our way and we tap into source. And we say, "Oh, this feels like home. This feels like peace. This feels good." And I want to say like my favorite Bible verse in Psalms is, it says, "Be still and know." If I stop there, be still and know, that has always been the ultimate Bible verse, the ultimate everything for my life, guiding force, guiding light, words of wisdom. Be still and know. And I know and I understand that beyond that, it says, "Be still and know I am God." And so there's two parts to why this is such a powerful scripture. Be still and know. I have always loved that because there is such a strength in being able to sit back and just look upon life and your creation, really. Your creation as you're living it here, right? Within the greater God creation, right? This gift that God's given us to live this life and for us to create kind of our families and create our homes and uh, create our experiences, our travel vacations and things like that, right? We're creating those things. We're doing what we're doing today to ultimately get somewhere, right? You're on this masterclass because you would like to get out of a rut. You would like to get out of the rat race, start a business, and still be a mom that doesn't have to give up being her motherhood, enjoying her motherhood, being present for her kids. But you still want to build a legacy that's built on purpose and passion and joy, and you to fully express yourself in this lifetime as a creator, as an author, an artist, a speaker, a coach, an inventor, in anything, right? You want to get out of feeling stuck in place. So I imagine that's kind of why you're on this call. Well, you sit back and you see your creation and you know that, okay, well, whatever I throw out there, God's going to catch. It's like I'm going to throw in the ball, he's going to catch it, and we're just going to we're going to spitball back and forth. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I would love to have this. And then God says, okay, here it is. And you're like, okay, well, okay, so I didn't think about this part of it. Let's shape this version of it. And we're making this well-rounded, nice little sphere of our lives, right? And I guess that's like our Earth. The analogy would really go well with this idea of like Earth as a sphere. And so we're creating our lives. And so whatever areas that make it jagged and make it cratery like the moon, we're just filling in. We're filling in the holes, the gray area. We're shedding light on all the pieces. And we're just like, okay, yeah. Well, this area of darkness, it gets to have my attention now. because look at all the light that I'm casting. And so as I'm casting all this light, then I see some darkness, and it's only to say that, okay, so we got this. Okay, what can we do here now? See how there's a level of creation in that? So I'm faced with this self-awareness that I've got a dark area here. I've got an area, not dark bad. Dark as in not lit, not aware. I'm not fully expressing here in my ultimate vision for myself, in my ultimate reality. I'm not expressing fully. And so therefore I've got some dark areas that I choose to put my attention on right now. And maybe that's health, right? Because maybe you've been working on your business and you've been letting, or motherhood, and you've been letting yourself just fall to the wayside as far as like how you want to show up, how you want to look, how you want to feel in your body, because you're just giving to your kids all day long. You've got this nurturer mindset of like abandoning yourself and just being the protector, provider for your family, especially if they're little still, right? And they still depend on you quite a bit. Then it's, maybe you're neglecting that level of self-care. Then it's like, okay, well, now I would like to feel strong again. I would like to um, fit my clothes again. If you're, coming from maternity and you're like, okay, I want to get out of my maternity clothes and get back in my other clothes and not have to buy a new wardrobe. And so my motivation is just to fit in those clothes, those jeans again, and just get healthy, right? So see how there's you just follow the path of enlightenment. You follow the path of where you follow your light. So as you're shedding light, right, on the things before you, the things that are coming up, you will see something like, okay, there's a dark area here. I wasn't expecting this. What is this? Let's look at it. Let's see what I might need now. And then to sit back and say, okay, be still and know that by merely shining the light on it and putting attention on it, things will start to be revealed and downloads will happen, and you'll be met with um, so much resources and um, I want to say support, right? If you're building a support network around this area and you're joining communities, clubs, and getting in connection with people who have already lit this part of their life, right? Lit this part up. And maybe you're getting in connection and you're networking, right? So then there's like, okay, there's provision here. God's making a way. Well, then that's where the second part of that comes in. So be still and know that I am God, that I am God, that I got this, that if whatever you give to me, I can make it happen because I am God. I am God. I was going to say I am that guy, but I don't love to give God masculine or feminine energy or labels, I should say, because he is both. And the duality of God doesn't exist. He's like a rainbow, all the colors. He's like white. All the colors are part of this pure white light. Every color is in there. So that is what we have. It's like, well, just give it to God. And what is even cooler than that is the scripture. If you expand, if you look out in that scripture and you read a little bit more and you see that they're in the midst of chaos and nations in peril and fighting, a lot like where we are today. And there's still the guidance of God to be still and know that I am God, that I got this. Like, regardless of what's happening there, I mean, unless you want to play in that war, that's for you to choose, or we can just, move on to something different, a different belief, something more empowering, something more energizing, something that is more beneficial to you living your best life. See how if I was me of yesteryear, back in the day, when I would maybe see that news report about the war, and I would say, oh, this is troubling. And I'm seeing all of the death and the despair. Granted, I don't like to even watch those kinds of news segments. I really don't. And I know I'm not alone in that because it's just so depressing. And it feels so out of your scope to help. That you could be left feeling helpless. And it's like, well, that's not empowering. That feeling of helplessness. It feels helpless. And then in order to fix the helplessness, you try to do something about it. So then when we see war and we recognize war and we want a place in the war, we want to take up space inside this idea of war and discontentment and discord. We want a place there to clean it up. And then we start to move in the direction of cleaning it up, right? Beyond your own house, beyond just cleaning where you live and what you can do, being the change, you immediately go to, well, how can I hustle my way there? How can I be this force that comes in and just knocks down all the doors and cleans up the place so that we don't have to go to war anymore? Versus being the energy of love and peace. And then, like Mother Teresa said, like, then that's what you see. That's what you experience because you're being love, being peace. Then you can see all the peace rallies, all the people marching for peace and loving and not even marching, really. Because I don't believe that there's the volition of needing to protest or demonstrate peace when you are peace. You let the light, your aura speak for itself. Like you don't have to do much. You don't have to effort much to convince other people that you are peace, unless you're living in the duality and you haven't picked a side, right? You're living in the duality. You haven't absorbed both sides of the coin. You haven't said, okay, well, I'm gonna recognize that there's purpose in both of these roles. And I can just collect them, be one with them, know that God still got it, and I'm coming along as a co-creator in my life. And I choose to see these nations repaired. And I choose to see these nations come together. I mean, isn't that what we're praying for? Right? Isn't that what we are praying for? We're praying for nations to come under commonality, right? To come to one agreement, one accord, and to truly have peace and not fight with one another, to come to an acknowledging of both sides. Like I see your side, you see my side. It's kind of a negotiation. It's like, how can we make this a win-win all around? It's like, come with that. That's a whole different reality than, otherwise. So then we're praying for that. Maybe we're giving it to God because we just don't know how otherwise, how it's gonna happen. Like, oh, I cannot see Israel and Palestine getting along, right? And so this is what the world might make you believe or try to convince you of. But wait, hold on. You hold power to choose to see what you want to see. And when you let go and let God and you pray about it, you're giving it to God. So you shouldn't take that back up as though it's some burden you bear, some cross you bear. It's not yours anymore, right? Because you gave it to God. Be still and know that I am God. To continually perpetuate this idea, this energy that I've got to keep praying about something means you still are taking it back. You're taking it back. You're putting it back in to what? Into the category of I've got to fix this instead of trusting God to make a way. Make a way out of no way, just like you are trying to do with your message and your purpose, you living out your creative dreams to fully put yourself out there, make a mark, build a legacy. See how this is contrary? And so the more you can continue to rise out from forcing your way into something, bulldozing your way into an industry or trying to make a mark with force and guns and weapons and brawn and strength and numbers and things like that. It's kind of like, oh, it's so much of a heavy lift versus saying, oh, I really honestly just have to think the thought, and thought becomes things. And if I pray and I give it to God, I let go and let him do it. And I get to be still and know. I get to be still and trust that whatever I threw to God as my desire, like to use Esther Hicks phrasing, to the rocket of desire that I launched to God and said, hey, God, this is what I want, and I'm going to put all my energy and believe that it's true. There is no other way around it. This is what it is. This is plan A, that these two nations get along. Then you can drop it and just watch God work. Now that is manifestation energy. That is power. That is you saying, this is what I want, and knowing it's yours. Knowing it's yours. Any other way of living is you living in lack. The immediate acknowledgement of, this probably won't work. Will this work? I don't know. How is this going to work? Is an admission of doubt, and therefore coming from a lack mindset. But see how little, like such a thin veil, such a thin line between that level of doubt, right, to power. Owning your power, owning your ability to create your reality, predict your future, write it out and have it so, and make it real. That's a different energy, but it's literally just a flip of that switch. And it's as simple as catching yourself in the level of thought and saying, okay, I'm feeling some scarcity here, because immediately my heart starts to beat fast and I'm feeling a little bit nervous. But then I can say, but it's also thrilling. And it's thrilling to watch God work. And I'm going to see in my lifetime this happen. And I'm going to rejoice the day. I'm going to shout from the rooftops and be living my best life when it happens. I'm going to get to see that. And that is immediately into your power again. Something as simple as that, just talking yourself through. And that toggle is all we're doing on a daily basis, going from force, power, force, power, force, power, force, power, until we're just power. We're just living in power. That is how you co-create with God. And yeah, I would say, and this is my toggle. This is my toggle. Spending so much of my life in people pleasing and waiting for life to happen to me. And I hope, I wish someday, people will get it. People will work with me, right? When I was first starting my business, a lot of my fear was around, like, yeah, who am I? And what am I going to say that's any different than anybody else? And why would anybody pay me to do this? But quickly that changed, because I always knew I was an entrepreneur. I think I had the confidence of an entrepreneur very young. So those didn't get me down. Those didn't stop me. I kept moving forward with my business. And now it's like, okay, this is why everything happens. And because that built on that, and that built on that. And and I'm staying true to my message, true to my vision, true to my mission, all the while I serve who I serve in the world, locally and beyond, right? Small, that first client. I remember my first client. I'm pretty sure she came from email or Facebook. And then my second one came from Instagram. I don't know why, I can't remember, but I think she came from my email, my very first client. And I remember it, right? Just working out the funnel, working out your checkout, your sales page, and all of those things, working that out, and then seeing that it worked. And okay, I got my first paid in full client for my coaching business. Immediately you feel like, okay, I'm on fire. I'm doing what I love. And then you just follow that. You follow that bliss, right? Of you doing what you love, living your best life, enjoying every day, being grateful for what you have so far, what everything that you want, you get, right? Being grateful for the fact that, wow, okay, as I am intentioning my life to look a certain way and feel a certain way and be a certain way, me to be a certain thing in the world, then I'm efforting toward that. So the effort that I am giving my business building is me just walking along the path to my vision. So it always felt good. It always felt like, okay, this is on purpose. And if it didn't, and I was kind of like, I'm really uncomfortable here, I had to take a step back. I would take a step back. I would say, what is incongruent? with where I want to go, what is not really settling well in my spirit, and how is this, if I keep going this path, going to look different than where I actually want to be, where I actually want to end up. Then I started to take ownership of my behavior, right? The energy I put out. This is when I started to do more work and less reading. Right. I would read my spiritual self-help books, but then now I was starting to move and walk in it. It was like, oh, it just clicked. And now I'm doing it. Now I'm able to help others do the same, but for their respective vision and their life, where they are, their current circumstances, and where they want to be, what their dream looks like. And that is the ultimate enjoyment and fulfillment for me, is to do that, to do this work. It really truly is. And so, yeah, I've been doing it ever since. And yeah, the more awareness I get, the better. The more I send, the more I can help others rise, because I'm taking the collective with me. Like, I just am. Um, Let me see if I got some questions. Feel free to pop in questions into the chat. Thanks for coming on live, everyone. I gotta go scroll to two different screens. There is something that I wanted to bring up, and it is on this level of, so if you think about, if you were to start with me in the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms, there is this vessel, this container that lets you be both mom and entrepreneur, not the container that feels like, okay, we only talk business here. I can't really reveal my struggles as a mom, and vice versa. The mom groups can't really reveal my struggles as an entrepreneur, but here you come whole, and you are whole, you're seen as whole, and you very quickly recognize how your motherhood journey affects your business journey, and vice versa. Your marriage affects your business. You very quickly realize that if you're stressed out in any area of your life, it's going to affect everything else. And as you start to raise kids and see them adopt your mannerisms and your phrasing and your language, because you're their person, right? You're their parent, and they're listening to you every single day. They're hearing you, they're forced to, you're talking to them, you're guiding them, right? You're getting them up in the mornings and putting them to bed at night. Like, you are with them. So they're going to start to adopt some of the same beliefs, right? And the more space you give them, they can start to shape and feel into their own way. And that's a beautiful thing, is when you do let off the reins, as far as like directing them and making them fit into this mold, right, that you want them to be, but instead you let them blossom and bloom, and you just kind of keep watering, and you make sure the plants, the soil's good, they got the most light, you're clearing the way. Okay, let the light come. Let's really allow this beautiful being to blossom and flourish and grow into the oak tree. I mean, truly, right? The oak tree of our day. That is that it, and when you see that, you know immediately that your energy is what's going to allow that or completely stifle it. And so you want to come correct. You want to like know that, okay, well, this feels good. I know that I'm being the best mom I can be. I know that I'm showing up in a way that's going to help them flourish. And I'm nurturing them to the best of my ability. Some days I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just like, then I'd be still in now. Right. Then I know God's working something. If I'm hitting some contrast, or I'm coming across something where I'm just like, I'm a fish out of water. I don't know what's happening here. I thought I was going on one path, and now I'm completely going another. Trust me, it feels like that way for me right now. Divorce, living separately, raising the kids, co-parenting, raising the kids in different houses, and how is that going to look, and what's the best for them, and worry that you're doing something wrong, because you know how divorce can be traumatizing on kids, especially young kids. And what does that do right from here? And then you're just kind of projecting this terror. Um, well, call it back. Don't live in the terror of that transition, of that scary unknown, but fall back and say, okay, be still and know. What is faith? Faith is believing in the unseen, or faith is believing in what you cannot see. And So having faith that God's coming through, having faith that this is all going to work out. One of the my mantras for this year has been everything always works out for me. It's a Neville Goddard quote. Everything always works out for me. And I've adopted that. And that's what I say. Everything always works out for me. It works out for us because there's no me without us. There's no me without my kids. This is my priority role. I want to be a great mother to these two precious souls and to my two bonus daughters. Like I want to be the best I can be. Best example, walk the walk, right? Talk the talk, to where they're empowered to live their ultimate life, dreams come true, all that. Well, anyway, as you experience the contrast, like I was mentioning in my life, I'm, coming up against some contrast and I'm feeling like, oh, how am I going to handle this? This feels really hard. And I'm sad. I'm emotional about it. It doesn't help that it's now an Earth moon. So I'm super in my feelings right now. And my concern is that of my family and stability and survival, very Earth moon energy. It's a full moon, like everything's intensified. And so if I didn't recognize that, if I didn't notice that, okay, this is kind of the collective energy, I'm going to go with it. And if anything, this is the best time to sit back and say, I know God's got this. And immediately you are freed from the pressure of having to fix it yourself. Immediately you're giving into the visions that you do see for yourself. You're clearing the slate of all the clutter, all the crap, all the chatter that wants to say that, oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh yeah, they're gonna be damaged for life. Oh, poor kids, poor kids. How are you gonna do? What are they gonna do? And counseling this, counseling that. And of course, all of that comes to mind. And the fear of that can take hold if I let it. But if I instead, in those moments of uncertainty and despair and fear and um, worry, turmoil, right, that emotional turmoil, if I let that take over and be the dominant feeling of my day, of my week, of my month, of my year, then that is going to be the experience that I have and that we all have. My kids will have. Because then I'm clouding the ultimate vision of us living healthy, happy, whole. I'm clouding the vision with this fear. I'm in a dark place. I'm covering the light. I'm blocking the light. In fact, I'm choosing to hover over the situation with my own self and blocking the light from being from lighting up this place and seeing how it can fit the whole picture, right? That we can light this whole sphere. I'm choosing to not let it be lit, right? And by God, right? By the sun, by everything good and whole and free flowing in this world. Like I'm blocking that. Instead, in that moment, I can say, okay, no, I see us healthy, happy, whole. I don't know how it's going to happen. I recognize that, the human side of me, the weakling that wants to just, live on earth and be meek and mild and not have anything too scarring or damaging happen just so that we can just get by, wants to wallow in the fear a little bit, maybe like feel validated in the fear. Nah, no, I'm going to rise above that. I'm going to choose to remember that no, what I called in for us is that of peace and joy and fulfillment and togetherness and bonding and love and joy and travel and adventure and just really beautiful, beautiful things. So I'm calling that in, right? Instead of the opposite. And that is manifestation. I mean, the behind all that, the underlying truth of manifestation is being the change. Another of my favorite quotes, be the change you wish to see in the world. Because there is nothing, to use Marianne Williamson's words, like there's nothing in this situation that you feel is lacking that you're not giving. Everything that you don't experience in a situation is what you're not giving. So you want to see more love in your life, more happiness, more joy, then start to choose to see the love and the happiness and the joy. And that is with the lens that you can put on yourself, your eyes. You can see love, joy. You can find all the evidence of love and joy and beauty. You can find all the evidence because you get what you're searching for. You find what you're looking for. We always do. Okay, we're going to see the evidence. If we're looking for something, if we're looking for flaws, we're going to find them. If we're looking for cracks in the foundation, we're going to find them. If we're looking for leaks in the roof, we're going to find them. And we're going to see that, oh, everything's not whole, and that's a problem, you know. But instead, look for all the reasons it is whole, and the foundation is perfect and strong and stable, and the walls are strong and stable and not going to fall, and the roof is completely flawless and stable and holeless, and no leaks are getting through, and you know, we're safe inside, you know, kind of the thing. um but yeah, I guess it's kind of like there's so many takes on this truth, this underlying truth of be the change. Be, just like we started this call, you want to build a legacy, then you are a legend. No, you are legendary. If there is a legacy about you and around you and for you, you are a legend in the eyes of the people that you leave behind, right? When you're gone, you are a legend in their eyes for having left this mark, this message in the world, right? That is what you are. So then you take up the mantle of legend, right? And that with it comes, wow, a lot of power and strength. And sometimes it could feel like it's too much. I don't know. How am I going to handle this? Can I do this? Who am I? Right. And there's just that identity crisis. Like even Moses, before he led the people through Egypt, like they are looking to somebody to guide them out. And even he was having doubt, like, who am I, you know, to do this? And he guided them through, right? But there was a moment of identity crisis. There was a, how do I know that this is what I'm supposed to do? And how am I going to do this? And notice how the how was not important once he started going, right? And every step of the way, he was met with some resource or provision to keep going, to provide the people the 10 commandments, to show the way, right? And so he was never without. He always had what he needed for the situation at hand. And if we continue to trust that, and we just piece together these moments of knowing that we've got everything we need, we're piecing that, and we just continue to see that as the truth, then everything will be there when we need it, at the ready. No sweat off your back. Just ready for you to take it, to adopt the belief that you have it first, and then to see it in your external reality, because you behaved in a way that had it. You were the change, right? In our being, like our human beingness, there's both the doing and the non-doing. There's both, right? That's the duality of being. But then there's also the togetherness of that, how we need both, for sure. There are moments of doing and there are moments of not doing. We need both. And so imagine if in the moments of non-doing, of resting, of taking it easy, of just chilling out, because you're like, okay, I'm going to take my foot off the gas. Like, this isn't, I don't know yet. I don't know enough here. God, come and intervene. Show me the way. Tell me what to do, right? That happens in the non-doing. And then the doing feels much more inspired, much more enlightened, much more purposeful, much easier, right? And then it starts to feel effortless, like, oh, I'm just going to do what really feels good to do right now. I'm not going to doubt, because this feels really good. I feel in flow. And there's no doubt when you're flowing, when you're taking inspired action, or you're writing something and you're just flowing, like you're not thinking. There's just nothing stopping that flow of the download that wants to come out. Let's say you were doing your morning pages, like Julia Cameron tells us in The Artist's Way. If you're doing your morning pages and you're writing that and you're just letting your creative side come out, and your worrisome side, and any side that wants the fear, and you're just writing it out, by 3 pages, you're going to have moved through something. You're going to have moved through a fear of yours, or some small thought, some low vibe thought that is keeping you stuck, and you're going to see through it. And that's the benefit of of writing and journaling and letting yourself be a channel and letting your human have a moment of unleashing and releasing its fears. Like, just wants to be heard. Just let me vent really quick. It's not to say you're doing anything wrong when you let the human vent. You're not doing, you're not saying that, oh, we got to fix this, right? If you think about a marriage, like the masculine energy wants to fix what the feminine energy calls an emergency or a crisis or a problem, right? And so it's like it wants to fix, when sometimes the feminine energy just needs to unleash, and debrief a little bit, work through some things, and it doesn't need any fixing. If anything, the masculine, having come on the same page as the feminine, can say, okay, well, then together we're going to move forward with this already fixed. We're going to move forward in the design of our lives as this having no bearing on our happiness, because it will be made clear. The problem will fix itself, or I don't know, the resources, the means to get through this will be made clear. That's a lot of clarity, right? Doing the work of that, like how we talked about journaling, that's clarity. Get at the end of that time that you've given yourself to just jot down some things about what you're feeling, journal through some of the pain, you can come across some clarity. And imagine not stopping until you do, not stopping writing until you do. But even just the act of putting it on paper and releasing, even if you're typing. I personally love a pen to paper journal situation, but I used to, back in the day, type my journal too. So I've done both, and they both work. Especially like if you just have to voice memo some thoughts and get it out, that's also really helpful too. So it just depends, right? Just go with the flow of what feels right. And that unleashing, that unburdening of yourself really does allow for clarity to come rushing in. It makes room for that, right? Because you're unburdening yourself. You're letting something go. You're getting it out of your way, out from taking up space in your mind, right? Because you let go and let God. So we are at time, and I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I did get a hello, Olivia Z Ventures. Go ahead and let me know what you're talking about. Put in your question, because we're just about to wrap up, but I'll give you some more time. And thanks for chatting and writing in. I will give you time to write that question if you had a question, or share your thought. I want to just leave you with, okay, so, if we think about this idea, if we go back to doing business as a mom or aspiring mompreneur, you will be met with a lot of challenges like that, a lot of moments of that roller coaster, a lot of moments where it just feels really dark and desolate, and you feel alone, and as both mother and entrepreneur, in separate camps, right? At separate times, you're going to feel that, right? That tension. Well, the good news is there's a way through that. And if you want help moving through some of that turmoil that comes up at any stage of motherhood, at any stage of business, what they say is every new level, there's a new devil, and there's a new challenge, right? To move through. Well, I consider myself kind of a thought partner with you in that regard. So moving through some of the things that aren't so clear, even if it comes down to like branding and positioning my message online, like, what am I saying? And I know that I've got a message deep within me. I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant for the big stage. I want to speak to nations. Well, how are you going to do that? And you're in your way thinking about, how am I going to do that? And you're so concerned with the how, you're in doubt, right? And so at any point, and at a lot of points, we're falling into doubt. We're following to that force. Like, I've got to force or fix this, instead of living as co-creators with God. And that is what I want to do. That is really, my mission ultimately is to lighten the mental load of mothers everywhere. And I say that because we put so much on ourselves to, honestly, we're fixers. We think our masculine is like at bay. No, every time we try to fix something or um, make our kids not sad by giving them something or making them something, baking them something, like we are in fix it mode. Okay. We don't have to be in fix it mode all the time, but there is this energy of like, I've got to do everything. And if it's not coming from me, if it's not me doing it, then it's not going to be done right. So, we want to just make sure that we're doing it in the energy of knowing God's also in this. I'm not going to do this myself. I'm not doing this alone. And so I like to just be that thought partner that reminds you of those things. Ultimately, and that lightens the load. That lightens the load that, oh, I've got to do everything. And it all falls on my shoulders. If I screw this up, then I really am going to damage my kids. If I screw this up, I'm going to damage my clients. If I screw this up, I'm never going to build a legacy. I'm never going to live the life of my dreams if I screw this up, right? There's so much that we put on our shoulders as though, it's only for us to fix in our human bodies with our human hands, these brains and bodies, as if there's not a deeper power that we can tap into at any moment and immediately transport ourselves from that small level of living and being and thinking to a greater, grander purpose and legacy, because you are a legend. So I like to partner up with you in that regard. And we work through some of those dark areas, some of those fears, that doubt. Doubt is the number one barrier to entry in business. And it's the reason businesses fail, because at some point there was some gray area, some doubt that this isn't going to work, or I don't know how to do this. And I'm relying on the how to come and it's not coming, instead of being still and know. And the how will show up, the opportunity, the call. You'll get the call that has the answer when you least expect it. And I'm talking gaps that close in 24 hours. One day, you're worried about something, and the next day you got your answer. There are so many stories of entrepreneurship where it is that fast, especially when somebody who's just not going to take no for an answer. This is plan A. I'm so dialed into my vision. I see it clearly and it's there, and I'm not losing touch with it. I'm not letting fear hold me back from it. You see those people close the gap of disbelief very quickly. And it's inspiring, it's encouraging, and it is the truth. And you can have it too. Closing that gap. Imagine just moving through and building this beautiful business and this beautiful life for you and yours in less time. I always like to say, get more done doing less, because it doesn't always require us doing more. If anything, doing less is how we can get there. Staying super targeted on the most important thing that we need to do in our business, that our business needs from us right now, that us as CEO, founder, creator wants to come out as, wants to show up as. Like, that work is the most important work when laying your foundation, because off from that, everything builds. Like, that's the foundation that's firm and strong. Building a business from that, knowing who you are, what you want, and the power you have to have it, is the foundation, right? Then you're building the scaffolding and all of that for the legacy that you want to leave, the mark you want to make in the world. And that is really how it works. That is the work. That is the work. That's the clarity work to have as a technique, like an everyday technique. Little things here and there that you do to keep your mind tapped into source energy and be the creator that you are, and create your life as you want it. And so if you like that idea of having me as your thought partner, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. If you like that idea, then you'll want to join the mastermind. So the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms is a cohort, a 6-month cohort. It's a container where you're in with other groups. It's a small, intimate cohort though. And we're working together on your ultimate vision for your business. No matter where it is, if you're starting or scaling, there is the need for tapping back into vision, coming back to basics, building up a strong foundation if it feels a little bit rocky and you're not really sure like what you're doing, or if you're completely off the rails and you're like, man, I started this business to spend more time with my kids and I'm spending less time with my kids. I literally created a job where if I'm not doing my business, I'm not making money. And if I'm with my kids, I feel like I'm not making money, or I'm spending so much time in my business because I have to make money and I feel guilty because I'm not with my kids. Like, this is not the life that I built for myself. I didn't think I was, but it in fact is the life that you built for yourself. So then we kind of say, okay, well, let me step back and let's start to create with more intention. Let's make sure that, yeah, I'm building my business by design. This is my intention for my business, and it feels that way. Like I'm living on purpose. I'm doing what I'm inspired to do every day. I'm living a life of pure joy. My kids are living lives of pure joy. Like, we're definitely just milking it for all it's worth, this life. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thanks for coming on. I see you on YouTube. Thank you so, so much for being on. I will share the link actually for the mastermind. So what you'll want to do is, hold on. I always do this where I don't even have it ready. Here we go. I will share the link inside both YouTube and Zoom. And then I'll also send out the replay to all those who registered on Zoom and maybe weren't able to attend. That will be where you find the information about booking a call with me. We can talk about the mastermind and how you can get in, and also that clarity launch conversation that we can have. So basically, what that clarity launch might look like is you coming with, hey, tell me about your business. Where are you at? What would you like to happen? And let's see you get it. Let's see what that looks like, that you're going to get this. All your dreams come true with your business. And also, what's this legacy going to be? What's your vision? What's your mission in this world? And nothing's going to stop you from getting it. That's what our clarity launch call is. Thank you so, so much. Thanks for coming on. I see some familiar faces. And really, really happy that you joined me. If there's any questions, I'll follow up with an email. You can always reply to that. And I'll see you on email or on YouTube or on Instagram, wherever I'm at. Shout me out, send me a DM, reply to my email, let me know how I can continue to support and serve you outside of the mastermind. Because right now the mastermind is really the only way to work with me one-on-one. We have some one-on-one times, even though it's a group cohort, there are some times to sit with me one-on-one. So we are going to really workshop your business and where you are, and whatever transition you're in, whatever feels like, oh, I'm stuck here. Like I hit a plateau. Like, I was loving what I'm doing. I'm not really doing it anymore. How can I get to the next level? Like, what is my next level? How can I be that? And who is that? Help me clear that up, so that I'm really rising with intention and purpose. And I'm feeling like, okay, I'm lit up again. Like I'm really on fire for my mission again, because I've tapped back in to what it means and what it feels like. And that feeling of home, I'm feeling, okay, I'm right where I need to be. I'm at the right time, right place, right moment. I'm doing the right things. This is all working out for me to be in that place of that confidence, right? Let's get you there. So however I can help. But thank you. We'll wrap, and I will see you next